Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I learn. Good afternoon, everyone, the galaxy of intellectuals, esteemed dignitaries, professors, and fellow participants. We appreciate your patience, and thank you for joining us today. I, Maria Kadil, on behalf of CMR University School of Legal Studies, in collaboration with the Consortium for Tobacco-Free Karnataka, welcome you all to the panel discussion on youngsters' identity with smoking. The CMR University Center for Environmental Studies, Law and Policy was established in the year 2021 with the vision of creating legal awareness and imparting knowledge on environmental law. Since its inception, it has undertaken numerous initiatives in fostering discussion and capacity building, in addition to the various conferences and talks presided over by renowned scholars and other relevant stakeholders in the industry and specialists from across the nation. The Foundation for Sustainable Health India is a Bangalore-based non-profit organization that evolved from the Consortium for Tobacco-Free Karnataka. This was conceived by Dr. Ramaih, Bangalore Institute of Oncology, Dr. Pratima Murthy, NIMHANS, and Mr. S.J. Chander in 2000. The goal of CFTFK is to protect people in general, and especially children and youth, from the ill effects caused by tobacco consumption, as well as the stage resistance for tobacco processing and cultivation. The safeguarding of children from the harmful effects of tobacco is the need of the hour. Since its inception, the organization has carried out public awareness programs in this regard in many parts of Karnataka and has advocated policy to the state government for framing laws and planning strategic programs. After having worked as an informal coalition, the CFTFK was registered in 2019. We have amongst us today a team of professionals in the field of health and education with domain expertise in public health, health management, psychiatry, oncology, and dentistry in school education. We shall now begin. Music is the universal language of mankind. Where words fail, music begins. I now invite Pranav, a third-year student of PBA LLB, to render the invocation song. I now request Ms. Gayatri, Faculty Coordinator, Center for Environmental Studies, Law and Policy, CMR University School of Legal Studies, to hand over bouquets to our panelists. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, panelists. I now request Nihal, a third-year student of BBA LLB, to introduce to us our panelists for the day.
Well, thank you, Maria. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today a very learned set of panelists who have real-world experience on the subject matter, who have also been working closely with the youth of this country to serve the cause. So, starting with the moderator for this session, Mr. S.J. Chander. He is a public health professional, mostly dealing with the voluntary sector. He holds MPhil in Sociology and PG Diploma in Community Health Management from Christian Medical College, Bangalore. He has more than 25 years of experience in addressing various public health issues as a trainer, researcher, policy advocate, and program management. Tobacco control is one of his passions, and he is keen to address the issues with children, youth, and public at large. He has been part of many awareness campaigns targeted for children and youth. He has personally reached out to thousands of students by imparting lessons on life skills. He is one of the founding members of Consortium for Tobacco-Free Karnataka and is currently the operating head of Maya Health. Moving forward with the panelists, we have with us Dr. Shobha Ji, Director, School of Home Science, Maharani Cluster University and Associate Professor, Department of Human Development. Dr. Shobha Ji is a gold medalist in MSc from Bangalore University. She has done her doctoral research in human development on the topic traditional versus progressive approaches in school education. She has over 28 years of teaching experience, both at the undergrad and postgrad levels, and has guided several postgraduate projects on various research topics. Dr. Shobha is the proud recipient of prestigious awards like Sushila Lingaya Gold Medal, Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Award, Vikas Prerak Sanman, Shiksha Ratna Puraskar from IIFS, New Delhi, Parimala Puraskar, Rotary Women Achiever Awards 2016, etc. for the community service she has rendered. Next we have Dr. K. Pushpanjali, presently works as a professor and head department of public health dentistry, faculty of dental sciences, MS Ramaih University of Applied Sciences. She is an accomplished academician with over 3 decades of experience. She has secured distinction in the subject of oral pathology and microbiology, third BDS. She has published several articles in many reputed journals. She has held several important key positions in national level conferences and associations. She won the Women Achiever Award in the year 2013, conferred by the Management GF Medical. Lastly, we have Dr. S.U. Sahayaraj. He has an overall 16 years of work experience in the area of mental health, addiction, and in particular, working with young people with addiction and treatment, family, women, and children, out of which he has 12 years of teaching, service, and research experience from the Department of Psychiatric Social Work and Department of Psychiatry at NIMHANS. He has worked in 3 areas, namely clinical services, clinical teaching postgraduates, and clinical research. He has topped in his UG and won the Peter Isaac Award for 3 consecutive years. He is one of the Institute Ethics Committee members of the Oxford Medical College Hospital and Research Center, Bangalore. So ladies and gentlemen, it is a proud moment that we all have gathered here for a cause by way of which we all have something to contribute to our future. I now give the stage to Mr. Chander to take us forward with the discussion on youngsters' identity with smoking. Over to you.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Professor Ramaih sir. So I'm indebted to his motivation. Anytime I could reach out to him, he's there. He's a source of inspiration to continue. A campaign like this needs his wisdom, guidance, support, which he is there. I'm so grateful to you, sir. For opening once again. Stand here second time on the same auditorium, same dais. So I'm happy once again. Look forward. I enjoyed thoroughly last year. I was talking to my panelists that I enjoyed. Once again, they look forward to enjoying their time with you. And my respected panelists and the faculty members of this university, anyone else there, Professor Gayatri, anyone else there. So it's my good evening to you all. And let's look forward to this Nihal was there recently with us addressing the press conference last week sometime. So we were appealing to the policy makers to protect children. I hope many will join him. That's my deep desire as a result of this session. I want to start with one question before I go on introducing, and then go ahead with our panel discussion. Under what condition you would subject yourself to manipulation? That's an open answer. Anyone? Is my question clear? I repeat. Under what condition you would subject yourself to manipulation? Did you get my question? Yes or no?
How you are manipulated? You being manipulated, and you don't know.
Would you subject or no? Or you're not aware sometimes that you're manipulated. Okay, my next question. What would be your reaction if you come to know that you're being manipulated? Think about this, okay? I would love to interact with these questions. Okay, we'll move on. Think about these questions. At the end of the day, you will find an answer to these two questions. Our panel discussion will lead to finding answer to this question. Very important, very critical question. So we have 2 rounds of discussion. My panelists already told me they are conscious of the time. We want to interact with you. We want to take more questions from you. I was telling them last year when I was here, they were arguing with me like lawyers already. We look forward to that again. Okay, we'll go ahead and start this panel discussion. I have a quick presentation before that. Set the tone for the discussion. So, you want to see that? Okay, fine. I'll run through. So when this is a common scene, what happens? Think. The food for thought. When this is a common scene, what happens? When this is part of our entertainment, what happens? And this is also a common scene. Recently it came. We celebrated Ugadi. Who's wishing us for Ugadi? Berkeley is wishing us for Ugadi. So they are part of us. They are telling us that you can't throw us away out. We are part of you. We've been with you for ages. We'll continue to be. So and this is a common scene. Actually, these are banned actually. These are illegal. Violated by the company and the vendor. See here, 3 flavors in one pot. This is also a violation. I'm sure you must be knowing, you must be familiar. I'm not trying any of that. Some of you must be trying. This also. Anyone know the guy who used to be on the Marlboro brand on the horseback? Anyone know his name? His name was Bob. Unfortunately, Bob died of cancer. He was promoting Marlboro brand. Look at this. Officer doing like that. Before handling a thief or culprit, and any police officer has done this. So this is part of our entertainment. What happens? It's a recent one. you think smoking is cool, isn't it? No? I'm glad to hear someone said no. I would love to hear more no's. No, sir. Oh, that's good. Thank you. So despite ban on advertisement and sale of pan masala gutka, see this one. Yesterday I was with Christ University. The registrar was going right in front of Christ, strategically a huge billboard they put up. Vimal gutka, surrogate advertisement. So Vimal, we have a gutka, but they are only pan masala. See, this is a surrogate advertisement. So we want good lawyers to fight and defeat them, because they know that they need to advertise. Why this warning? What effect it has on? This is a new warning. What effect it has on you? It's a new one. Tobacco causes pain. So tobacco companies shape their marketing campaigns to portray smoking as cool, sexy, independent, fun, attractive, living on the edge. Okay, this is the next one I'll show. So that's all the slides have to just set the tone. I'm nothing against being cool, nothing against expressing your freedom, but not with a cigarette in your hand. Is there any other way? Please tell us. How can we tell others also? They don't want to express your freedom and style with cigarette, but something else. Okay, let's start the panel discussion now. Can you have the panelists on guys? Okay, my first question to Dr. Shobha. Why do you think young people identify themselves with smoking or tobacco use? Dr. Shobha, can you tell us, in your view, why do you think young people, in our observation, young people identify, young people and smoking are no, it's a cool thing. Why do you think they so much identify with smoking?
Good afternoon, dear students. Is the topic that we have brought before you relevant today to all of you? Yes? Yes? Okay. So the question, why do young people get into smoking? Yeah. What is the statistics? What does it tell you? What percentage? Yes?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure, okay. All right. India is one of the second largest producer of tobacco, and in consumption it's coming very high, in the third place. And every day about 5,500 youngsters are getting initiated into tobacco, which is a huge number, isn't it? And if you look at the initiation day time, between 13 to 15 years, our youngsters have already had their first taste of smoking tobacco. So the numbers are quite grim. And you also know the adverse effects of tobacco smoking. Yes? But how and why do our children get hooked onto it? And we all know the risk factors of that, right? In spite of that, it's not about how much you know, but what you do with that knowledge is that what sets you apart, isn't it? All of us know many things, right? But what are we doing with that knowledge? So why is it our children are getting into it? If you look at that, the age, myself being in the field of mental space and then working with youth and adolescents day in and day out, I would like to bring in a little bit of the human development concept here. As children, as toddlers and youngsters, the children are such that they listen to their parents, they learn through trial and error, role modeling, and there's a less amount of questioning or rational thinking or reasoning. But fast forward, come to the teen years, the 13 to 15, 18 years, that is when the brain is rapidly developing. The teenagers are getting into the identity formation, want to know who they are, want to have a niche for themselves, want to identify, want to question everything. So that is a way the body is growing, physically, emotionally, socially, sexually. There's a lot of changes and hormonal havoc that's happening in the youngsters. Good or bad? It's normal, isn't it? That's the process of becoming an adult, a mature adult. But this is a field of transition. This is the time they want to conform to a group, do something what the others are doing, question everything that is put before them. The peer pressure is so much, the social belongingness. They live on the edge and they want to experience everything. So that is the way children are. And to tell you, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain which is just behind your forehead, that's the last one to develop. It's around the 20th and 25th years, 25 years. That's when the prefrontal cortex develops, and that is a seat of decision making, impulse control. So which means to say that the youngsters who are going inside out transformation are not able to take a right decision because their brain is under construction. It is still happening. So when that is the process, they are so vulnerable and they take to anything that's attractive. When such is the case, in and around environment, media, parents, friends, if we have the wrong prototype, what you see, what you do, everything is different there. So that is the time. They're so malleable. They're so vulnerable. So that is the time the young adolescents get into these habits. They want to experiment. They are so curious. They lack that decision making and impulse control. They don't know the consequences of that because the rational mind is still developing. And all this makes a very right ground for them to experiment and get into the right things, wrong things. Your brain helps you to take the right decisions. At the same time, it also controls you to be in the wrong company and to take up wrong decisions. My dear students, if we can have that hold and control during those initial years of your teenage, I think you can rest happily with that guaranteed phenomenon that yes, I will be having a healthy, happy, holistic adult life. So these are the years, the fundamental years we need to take care. As educationists, as parents, as a media, as a responsible society and community, we need to take care of the younger generation, the youth, because that is the age and stage which is prone to ill effects. So that is one of the reasons, sir, all put together. So we need to look at it holistically.
Thank you, Dr. Shobha. So you said that vulnerability to make decisions. So the industry, tobacco companies capitalize. You know what their caption? Hashtag catch them young. They capitalize. She presented so much facts to us. What do we do with that? So industry is capitalizing on that. They want to say they believe. Some of the marketing executives said, how can we do unethical target children? It's a company's policy. You want to stay here, follow it or get out. How can we target children? It's a company policy, you must target. If they don't target you, they will end up business, tobacco business will collapse. It's always because of you. Let's move on to the next panelist, Dr. Pushpanjali. She's also very experienced. I want her to understand how can we've been here to protect. The whole afternoon we have taken time, we have taken leave and then come here. Our concept to protect. How can we protect INT? They are so vulnerable.
Yeah, thank you, Chander, and thanks, Dr. Shobha, for setting the tone. That really helps me to cover it.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I do have experience, but my experience at the field level, where I'm working with the rural population, primarily addressing OPMDs and oral cancer, and the primary cause being smokeless tobacco consumption. However, beyond that, sir asked, how do we protect them? Okay, I'm coming from public health aspect. So public health aspect, normally when we look at protecting people from not getting into habit, or we're looking at bringing about change in their behavior, we normally speak about approaches. One is health education approach, the other one is primary healthcare approach, service approach, regulatory approach. Health education approach is creating awareness, letting you all know what we've come here to say that tobacco causes injury. It's not good for your health. It's one kind of health education. Service approach is giving you all service, some kind of support when you need, some kind of counseling sessions when you need, service approach. Regulatory approach is a part packed. Okay, so these are approaches. Now with this background, I will share a case study. Okay, please listen to this. This is about 3 people. Father, son, and grandson. There are 3 people in this scenario. Father, son, and grandson. Father, when he was 9-year-old, had his first tobacco exposure. When he was 9-year-old. The reason, it was freely available. This was in 1940s. Now the father is 82-year-old. So when he was 9-year-old, he had his first tobacco exposure. When I asked why, it was easily available. So I wanted to try it out. By 15 years, he got into the habit of tobacco consumption. So 9-year was his exposure. 15-year-old, he got into habit. And 20 plus, he was addicted. Addicted to the extent that daily 2 to 3 packets a day, which continued up to his 72. Okay? But at the age of 72, he just dropped his habit, like hot rock. Imagine you're holding a hot rock, and how you drop it. He just dropped his habit, crushed the last pack that he had, and he said, I'm not going to smoke from next minute. The reason being, his grandson, who was 6-year-old, said, Grandpa, you finish your smoke and then call me. I want to come and hug you. That hit the grandfather so bad. Oh, this is preventing my grandson coming to me. So he immediately dropped it, and he's 82 now. He did not experience any withdrawal symptoms or nothing. No kind of help. That is the first case. Are you with me? The second case is the father or the son. We finished the father case, now the son. The son kept on observing his dad, the father, who was smoking. So he had his first smoke when he was 15-year-old. And he became an addict. Started just like father, because Dr. Shobha just said, we observe somebody as our role model, our heroes, and we try to follow. Correct? But unfortunately, please select right role models. Okay. See, he continued, became an addict. He's 50-year-old. 6 months back, he reduced his tobacco consumption to 50%. Reason being, he had a very bad health issue, so he had to decide on his own to reduce. Second case. Now the third case, the grandson, who is 15-year-old now. Continuously he was exposed to all these factors at home. Correct? So what do you think of this grandson now? Yes? Any idea? Yeah. Till now, he's not had his first smoke. When you ask him, he says, oh, I don't want to get into this. Not that his father and grandfather are not his heroes, they're still his heroes. But then he has picked up only the right. So these are the real cases that I have witnessed. Now tell me, which particular approach helped these three? I spoke about certain 4 approaches initially. Health education, service, regulatory or advocacy, and primary health care. So which approach helped these 3 cases? Which approach helped? Were they given any health education? All the 3? Yes or no? Were they given any primary health care approach? Were they given any regulatory warnings? Correct? Or what was the last one? Service approach. Were they given some kind of counseling or psychological help? Then what happened? Who said that? One round of applause to sir. Sir asked a simple question, how do we protect? We are here to just give structure. You are important. Your willpower matters. I think that should come first. Your health, you're important. You should take initiatives. Impossible also has, I am possible. So please don't get into it. It is possible. It is possible to stay away from this particular habit. You protect your health. You protect health of your family, health of your community, and health of your nation. I think that is what I could say in this particular question. Hope I've answered.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, sure. An example, so many people argue with me, people live up to 80, 90, but that's not the case. Those are exceptions. They're smoking still now. I had a recently call from data bench from cardiology. The cardiologist asking, can you do something about it with young people? Why is that? More and more young people are coming with heart problems. So tobacco is the risk factor. So it is not the case. What you know, somebody 90 is an exception, but in reality, doctors are telling young people are coming. True. Sometime back in Jayanaka 4th block, I saw a young guy with a long brown color cigarette. Curious. I talked to them. I went to him as a gentleman, may I have a minute? He said, yes, sir. So what's in your hand? Cigarettes, sir. What brand, man? Some brand is long one. I have not seen this. Then he told me about the brand. So what's in it? Do you know what is in it? He said, tobacco, sir. So what is in tobacco, do you know? He said, nicotine. I said, I'm glad. What do you know about nicotine? Nothing. Then why are you doing this line? So we have a panelist with us, Dr. Sahayaraj will talk about. Tell us more about nicotine, one of the 7,000 substances that tobacco contains. WHO says 7,000, not one or two. So nicotine is one of the major culprits. Sahayaraj will explain to us more nicotine, what it does to our human body, and about the qualities of nicotine. Is there any benefits about nicotine?
What do you think? Some might be maybe using it. Even if you use it, pretend that you don't use it, because it's very difficult to accept that I use it. Right? How many dare to say that I use it? I'm not using it. So, who can say?
How many of you?
How many of you dare to say that I am smoking cigarette?
Thank you. Good to know. Thank you. No, we are not going to
You done it? So that's what
we are
everyone
not
is
going to
looking at.
stigmatize. We are not going to criminalize. You are simply victim of the system.
There's no labeling.
Thank
You know why? You know why?
Thank you.
They dare to say. They dare to say that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right. See, the moment, I don't know how many of you, I won't say whether you are covered or whatever it may be. This is called social conscious, no? What will happen if I say that I smoke? Then why do you smoke then? Right? Yet I smoke. Why you smoke? Ask yourself. Because it's not only that, and see, nowadays it's a norm having relationship. Ask your boyfriend, why do you smoke? Because it is going, okay, like, I don't know how long it's going to have a long lasting, right? But every time you are exposing yourself with the cigarette, comparatively, women get much more physiological issues than men. Right? And then how, okay, from the tip, I mean from the butt to tip, what all the chemical compounds are there? Have you ever seen? Right, there are 4,000 toxic substances are there. There is a tar, there is a gasoline, all, okay, all, what you require is just nicotine that actually it gives a high. Only nicotine. Right. But all other things, it is completely, it is going to ruin from head to toe. All other systems including the so-called the reproductive system. Right? And this is what that I would like to give a kind of a thing. And then we are not here to say we are showing so many pictures, no, that it is very disgusting. Okay, by showing that, whether we are not going to maybe trouble you or threaten you. Nobody can, okay, we can bring the horse to the water, but we cannot drink for the horse. Right? So, the question I asked, how many of you are smoking? First, that is, there are 3 levels that awareness, attribution, and acceptance. First, if you are able to accept in public, which you are ready for change. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sahayaraj. So nicotine, only one benefit as far as it. Does anyone know the benefits of nicotine? Positive side? Any idea? It's the best insecticide. It can kill the insect. And then it can also clog your arteries. Recently, I lost one of my friends. In the 60s, he died. 60s, he died, early 60s. 30 years is a heart problem because smoking was the risk factor. So nicotine is a culprit. It blocks the clogs the arteries. So he got into heart problem. There's many cases like that. So nicotine is a major culprit of tobacco. You must be aware of. We'll talk more about in the next round about nicotine, what it does to your brain. Dr. Shobha was talking about brain development. Nicotine, Sahayaraj will explain about how it affects your brain development. We look at how to protect, again, on those lines, laws. We are talking to law students. You can help us with and look at the existing laws, how you can strengthen that, and new laws are needed. Dr. Shobha, to go to you. So what are the measures taken at a national and national level to protect young people?
Thank you, Chander. So just to continue, Dr. Pushpa gave you a classic example where our gentleman here gave the answer that self-awareness is important, right? Although it boils down to that end of the day, we need certain control measures and the laws and policies in place, isn't it? So talking about that, we have on paper and in action, we have good, meaningful laws. We have the National Tobacco Control Program, NTCP, working with its 3-tier approach, with main objectives to create awareness about harmful effects of tobacco. We are here with that today. To control the production and also to ensure that the policies are enacted in the right way. So with that, we have the district level, the state level, then the national level programs happening, with all the stakeholders involved in that, creating information, giving them information, health information, training programs, health awareness programs, and this is happening and it's covering all the 36 states and the union territories. Yes, and we have the COTPA Act. COTPA Act is one of, it's kind of a Bible which gives you all kind of information and regulatory mechanism. COTPA stands for Cigarette and Other Tobacco Products, Production, Trade and Regulation, Advertisement, Prohibition Act. This act is there, and as per the COTPA Act, you all would be knowing, children less than 18 years, minors, sold or not sold?
Not sold.
Eligible to purchase? No, it's an offense. 100 meters or 100 yards within the education institution, tobacco and products to be
Not sold.
sold, available? Should not be. Should not be. There should be visible signages near educational institutions about the ill effects of tobacco. Public places, restaurants, hospitals, malls should be selling? Should be allowing smoking? No. So all this is very well defined in the COTPA Act. Yes, as you all know, in a country like ours, there are well-meaning policies, but at the end of the day, it is up to the public, the government, and the entire mechanism to make that happen. Yes. So, my dear students, it's not just only about the law. It's not about who is making, who is defining, who is drafting these laws. But at the end of the day, each and every one of us. It's always said that the strength of a chain depends on its weakest link. Each one of us are those links. So if each one of us can strengthen in our own way, as a student, as a well-meaning friend, as a roommate, as a hostelite, as a faculty, as a parent, if each one of us can strengthen, I think we will be giving more meaning to the existing policies and acts. I think that should be our duty and responsibility.
Thank you. I am a law-abiding citizen. I don't break law deliberately. Are you all? Do you want to see? If you want to be a law-abiding citizen, you should not be smoking. I'll tell you why. Most smokers are lawbreakers. Most smokers are lawbreakers because there is a law, section 4 says smoking in public place. You know what is the definition of public place? Any place where a public have access to is a public place. So where only place where you are allowed to smoke is a smoke zone. You know, smoke zone is a glass box fully covered with, because people when put in the law, the health experts, public can know that how harmful the toxic gases from smoke. So it should not go to you directly. It should go through the chimney in the glass box. So only place you can smoke is that. So but my one problem, I'm a campaigner against smoking in public place. You know, how do I do that? I see anybody educated or uneducated. My major challenge is educated. I go gently talk to the gentleman, what's it? I just talk to them in a couple of minutes. I start like this. In this country, sir, I have one problem. What is this? How to educate the uneducated? So what are you talking about? Cigarette in yours. That's all the message. How to educate uneducated? I have no problem with uneducated. So if you are a law-abiding, most people educated, this company encourages them to break smoke in public places, breaking the law violations. So the World Health Organization's authority on this issue, because of them today we are talking. Thanks to WHO has taken a stand again, because unnecessary death and disease is happening. Huge money is thrown out. Serious public health problem. So we look at what are the global measures. WHO has come out with a tobacco-free generation. We will learn about that. Before that, I want to talk about international laws to protect children.
Thanks, Chander. Just to add on to what Dr. Shobha was talking about, CFTFK 2003, very clearly it specifies about smoking form of tobacco. But what about smokeless form of tobacco? When you spoke about my experience in the ground, can I share it?
Yes.
5 minutes? Yeah. I was doing research, collecting data on the risk factors for precancerous lesions and cancerous lesions. And what I found was most of them were consuming tobacco. But that form of tobacco is not mentioned in CFTFK 2003. Okay, it speaks about labeling, it speaks about packaging. But this, when I went into the roots of what kind of tobacco they were consuming, they said it's available in the shop. So I went there to the shop and found out. I said, I said, kadipudi. 5 rupees. I got so much. For 5 rupees, I got so much. No packaging. So where's the law? So why I'm taking up this issue is now you are, as sir said, you are very important. You should be raising these issues and helping us out as to how do we combat such loopholes in our existing laws. Thank you so much for that. And hope you all please remember this point because it's a concern. Why it's a concern? Because I saw a 6-year-old child consuming smokeless form of tobacco. It's kadipudi, which is very freely available. So do we have concern for them? Yes? Correct? Yes, we did submit some reports, spoke to people, but then how far it's going to help, we don't know. But you are the future of such regulatory acts. I think you should take initiatives to work out what is existing, what are the gaps, how can I build on it? Okay, with that, now sir asked me to speak about international law, especially the FCTC one. Framework Convention for Tobacco Control is signed by 182 countries. It's one of the biggest global health, public health treaty.
Only public health treaty
yes,
in the history of WHO. No treaty at all for any issue.
Yes, and the biggest. And evidence-based. Yes. Why evidence-based? Because for every point that they have mentioned in the document has facts. Based on the facts, what can be done, what cannot be done is what is mentioned. And the CFTFK Act and all other regulatory mechanisms that come up in different countries. The ground document, the mother document is the FCTC document. Okay, it has articles from 1 to 38. But however, the one significant for you is 6 to 17. The 6 to 14 one is speaking about reduction in tobacco production. Reduction measures to reduce tobacco production. So there are various measures it mentions. One is being very strict with pricing. Increase the price. 75% the tax should be increased than the actual cost. Many countries have implemented 50% to 30% they have increased and they have found success stories. The global records, if you go reports, if you check, they have seen success. Reduction in prevalence of tobacco consumption is reduced mainly because of increase in taxation. That's the first point. Now non-price activities, there are many measures. Okay, one is you have to have regulation for the tobacco production contents. You need to have a testing lab in your own country. All the signatories for this convention need to set up such kind of labs and to fix up the standards. These are the products and this should be it. Okay, that is one. Next is, it goes to manufacturers, they have to submit their claims. These are the products, these are the emission products. Submit, get it approved by the national health authorities before it goes into the market. This is mandatory. If we have signed, if we as a nation we have signed that, then it's our responsibility to abide by it. Whether we are abiding or not, it is your responsibility. As law students, as future lawmakers, as future citizens, you need to check that component. Second is coming to packaging and labeling. Sir showed a nice picture. What was very significant in that picture? very clearly it says, it is dangerous, it is painful, it will kill you. So this is mandatory, okay? 50% of the area and more should be covered.
85%. Required one.
Yeah, and not less than 30%, not less than 30%. So many countries have followed that. In spite of that, people get into the habit, that is different. But it will stop few people. And no erroneous, like false claims. Low tar, medium tar,
But it is there.
yeah, they're not supposed to.
Yeah,
They're not supposed to. And if we have signed as a nation, then we need to abide by it. If it is not, then who is going to raise alarm?
They make a mockery of the law.
Yes. So these are all certain issues where the FCTC has clearly mentioned. Second one is coming to the supply aspect of it. Okay, supply aspect, illicit trading of tobacco products. Let me give you an example of Australian government. It is zero tobacco product. Okay, if you want to possess more than 2 kg, you're not supposed to possess more than 2 kgs at all. Okay, you're penalized. If it is less than 2 kgs, if it is for your personal use, then you need to show all kind of documents as to how did you possess, how much did you pay, who, from where did you purchase. So that strict is the law. Okay, so they have implemented very, very stringently this particular aspect. Second is selling to minors less than 18 years of age. Selling to minors, selling by minors, both are mentioned. Do not use all those minors for selling tobacco, very important. Selling to minors less than 18, very important. Of course, if I remember, I think 2 years back we have submitted petition to increase the bar up to 21 years. It is still lying
We still need to do that.
need to work on it. And the last thing is, now Dr. Shobha spoke about India being the second largest producers of tobacco. So that means that many large population is involved in tobacco production. That means that many families are depending on the revenue generated by this. So that if you just ban, what about their livelihood? So Article 17 clearly says find out feasible alternative, so that they do not suffer because of this action. I think Chander will throw more.
In a phased manner, they want us to help the farmers to shift, but the talk in the air, by 2020, farmers knew it, nothing happened. Now they're talking about 2025. Farmers are telling me our government is going to ban, but government is claiming about 1,12,000 acres were shifted out. The reality is different. We'll get into that.
Yes. So this one particular convention, which has been agreed upon by 182 countries, and evidence synthesis has shown that we have seen success stories. The target was 30% by 2025 by WHO, but they are reaching 31%, and predominantly all these articles, which I just mentioned. But the failure is the interaction with the industries where they have failed. But we need to take measures, scale up our interventions to reach the target of end game of
5.3 section, that's what is
Yes.
reads about. Yes, so one correction, read Google search FCTC framework and read it please. Sometime we should have here, we want to be the audience and listen to you talking, debating on both the CODPA and the FCTC. We'll plan that with you.
We would love to be part
We're
of
allowed to come and listen to you, debating.
There are 2 documents, the major document and also a summary document. So you can read both.
Yes.
Both are equally good.
Yes.
Thanks, Chandra.
Thank you. So we'll move on. We want to listen to you quickly. Then my last round, and then before that, Sai could quickly tell about the nicotine and brain. 2 minutes.
See, when do you, okay, like only people, those who are having tendency to smoke, how many of you, it's for your internalizing that you have to think about. How many of you, the moment when you see someone is smoking, whether you had a thought about smoking, or the one who smokes next to you and then you take the smoking, or any other reason for your taking? Any quick? No, not necessarily that the answer will be like the person who smokes. It's not the case. So which means that the social consciousness is so high, which means that I'm not supposed to, right? That's great. See, basically it works in the reward pathway where, okay, like this. See, and one of the reasons why these people they continue to smoke, there are some chain smokers also. They are there, no? What's the difference between alcohol and other drugs? And then what is the one difference is why repeatedly say like alcohol and other things, there will be some kind of duration with which they may maybe morning, then maybe after 2-3 hours or 4 hours, and then evening like that. Why nicotine alone like that? Immediately they go.
And then 8 seconds reach
Yes.
the brain.
Yeah. See, and it hits the brain immediately.
And then
Right.
it goes fast also, isn't it?
Very
So
fast.
you need another
Okay. See, it's like it's like when you are going like maybe theme park and all, no, that goes up zoom.
Please.
Yeah, things, no, like that, and then the same way also the high, and then it comes down. That is the one of the reason with which people they continue to smoke.
They want to maintain that high level.
Okay, keep them in high, and of course, what are the okay like. Whenever you see the film, no, that is perpetuated. Acha, I'm not nice or good or okay. Have a drink, have a smoke. This is what you'll be very much going around and then next to you, and then maybe smoking, no, and then either take that from the mouth, probably not looking at any other communicable disease, immediately taking, or how to. Why this comes? Because the craving for nicotine is so high than any other substance. If anyone vouch, I agree that it is very, very difficult to stop or quit nicotine. The main reason is, even I worked in different hospitals, you know how they smuggle the maybe
Bring it
BD.
because
Okay, you know how they bring masala dosa. Okay, we have yeah, and the other things like even ladies smuggling, and they bring it, and because of their words, maybe son, husband, whomever it may be. So much is the craving, and then craving just because of probably either cue related or the craving related. So. And it is not only, as I told you, it is starting from the brain and then it's going to ruin throughout. Okay, so once you are hooked into, and that's it. I was discussing with other people, cigarette or nicotine or tobacco use is the gateway for whole other horizon, the gateway for all other drugs, right? So most often, I don't think that you have been reduced by family members. You would have been a modeling. I mean, maybe brother, uncle. I still remember I bought a BD for my father, but I don't smoke. But my brother, all my brothers, they smoke. Okay, see, it all depends. It is individual choice. And vulnerability, and one more traits that I tell you, if you have ADHD, that is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. This is what I'm not telling you have a disorder, it's a trait. Like this you get angry. Immediately the result is just you go. Okay. And the difference between male and female, right? Use of substance, especially female, they are introduced only by the male partner. Men use any other substance to boost, to be happy, to be in the company, right? Whereas female, they want to ward away their suffering. They want to ward away their loneliness. They want to ward away their issues and problems, right? And there is another term called telescopy. Telescopy means, what is the use of telescope? That draws you the distant object next to you, which means the days reaching towards dependence is reduced, right? They maybe the absorption into the maybe metabolizing all these things, it's very, very fast. And then once comparatively, when many women, okay, don't, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Your appearance, no? If you continue to smoke and then premature aging is the consequence. Thank you.
So before we go to the last round, and then I want to break it, take a couple of questions from the break the monotony. Do you have a question to the panelists? Anyone of them? Does anyone have a question? No? I will go ahead and complete it in another 5, 10, 8 minutes. Then we'll take questions. Or anyone have a question? Go ahead, please. Does anyone? Does anyone have a question? No? Okay, we'll move on. Time is precious, so let's listen to the video. She's one of our champions from Mysore, tobacco control advocate. And last December, I was surprised, taken aback. It just spontaneously came out about her reaction to smoking. We have recorded and listened to. Hope the audio is clear. Let's listen to what she has to say. She's trying to say. Let's move on. Pratima said she's representing you all. She's a graduate in commerce now, doing a graduate in commerce. She said, when you people, elders, tell us something not to do it, we would want to do that. That's the mindset. That's what we are here to challenge. About smoking, how can it be a cool and in thing, but you want it to be a cool and in thing. We heard from your faculty members here, many of you are using it. This is up to, and you have to make up your mind. We are here to tell you how it affects you. You have to decide what to do. So, Dr. Ma, how to change this mindset? Question to you now.
So, although you couldn't hear the audio clip and the video there, the question Chander sir is raising is, when elders tell the youngsters not to do certain thing with a good interest and intention, youngsters don't follow it. They rebel and they do exactly what that should not be done, is what this girl is asking. Why does that happen? Is that a question in your mind too? Does it happen? Or have you gone through that stage of rebellious nature? Yes? Can you all sit straight for a minute in your chairs? Thank you. Just do not think of rain for the next 1 minute. Do not think of rain in any form. Drizzle, raindrops, tsunami. No, it shouldn't. I told you not to think of rain. What's happening? What's happening? You are thinking of rain. Till now, from past half an hour or 45 minutes, I don't think this ever crossed your mind. But the more I say no, that's coming back to your mind. Is there anything wrong with the word rain? No. It's the language, it's the kind of instructions we give it to your brain. More of a no, a negative approach. When we say don't do, our brain holds on to that. What? Don't think of rain, and I want to do that. You try this with children, you try this with any age group. That's how our brain functions. So there is something wrong or mistake in our instructional language. The kind of instructions as parents or as teachers we do. So what is it that our youngsters are looking for is a rationale, an explanation, the cause and consequence, instead of just saying don't smoke, don't do this, don't do that. We have just now experienced and experimented that we exactly do what is not to be done. Don't fight with your brother. Don't smoke. Don't do this. Don't watch TV. Children end up doing that. So that's how the brain functions. So we need to be rewording, rephrasing. So there needs to be a change in our connotation, in our language. That is something very, very important. So if we can do that, yes. Otherwise, you have everything out there which is telling you, and Dr. Sahai very clearly told you the ill effects. So there's a strong writing on the wall, but we still do it. Yes or no? We are in an AC hall. How do you want this room to be? How should the AC be running? With a lot of noise? You want a noiseless one or with a lot of noise? Noiseless one, yes? Yes? And you drive a car or a vehicle, although when diesel and petrol is filled in, combustion results in smoke, yes? But still we go for emission test, because even that smoke should be within a particular limit. So a vehicle which has been designed to emit smoke, even there we have a limit. But look at this beautiful machine, priceless, which was never designed to emit smoke. We put smoke into it with all the 7,000 chemicals. And when somebody says no, we want to do exactly the same thing. So it is not about who is telling you not to do it. It is about your intention, our decision making, and our brain is a wonderful master, at the same time is a great slave. So it is up to us what your brain controls. Whether you control or your brain controls whatever you do. So think of that. It is not about the no from external thing. It is a strong no which is coming from within. Listen to your inner voice, and that's more important.
I have a visual graphic to show that if we are designed to smoke, we should have a chimney here. We don't have a chimney. The visual shows that. I use my PPT. We don't have, but yeah, we should think about that. We have Dr. Pushpanjali, oral health specialist. We want to talk about so not so much that one disgusting thing about smoking.
Many should.
Many, one.
Yeah, let me stand and just explain. This is very important.
Yes.
If what Shobha said, if they have to understand and take that initiative of no to tobacco, then this is very important.
Yes.
Just give me 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm not going to ask how many of you are smoking. It doesn't matter. You must have seen somebody smoking also. But after listening to this, I'm sure you will change. Okay, first thing, what sir asked, what are the changes that will happen when you smoke? Okay, beyond this part, sir has already spoken. I'm only speaking about this part. What happens? First change, your lips will become darker. First change. Your boyfriend or your girlfriend is not going to like it. Second point. How long, sir? Don't give them ideas, so please.
I'm with them, that's right.
However, second change. Just put your tongue onto your palate. Yeah? Yeah. There you will develop something called smoker's palate. It will turn gray in color, and it's called stomatitis nicotina. You'll have small eruptions onto your palate if you continue smoking. Second. Third point. Your teeth will start changing color. They take brown staining. Correct? Again, your social life is interrupted. You don't want to smile. When you go to give interview, can you have that kind of teeth? If you continue that, it's neither for further accumulation of something called tartar or calculus. And that is not good for your gums. So your gums become red, swollen, and it bleeds easily. It's called gingivitis. Okay? Every step, if you stop, then there is no progression. Please keep that in your mind. It's a chain I'm speaking. Okay? If you don't stop at this level, if you continue, the gingivitis further progresses and harms the support system of your tooth. Your tooth is supported. It's in a socket made of bone. Okay, the bone becomes weak. What will happen? You will lose your tooth. You will become grandpa, grandma early. So, it's periodontitis. This is one part of it. Second part of it, all this, what are the implications? Your social life is disrupted. Your ability to speak, smile, social interaction will be inhibited. Your quality of life will suffer. One part. Second part, which is very important, if you continue further, what happens? Have you heard of oral submucous fibrosis? You should know about it. When you continue to use tobacco in any form, especially smokeless form. Now, can you all open your mouth and close? Can you all try that once? Open your mouth and close. Yeah? You will not be able to do this if you continue. Yes, and that's called oral submucous fibrosis. This whole elasticity is lost. It gets fibrosed. Please remember there is no treatment for this. You will not be able to speak, eat, drink. It's like this. Complete opation. Initial stage there is treatment for oral submucous fibrosis. Later stage there is no treatment. And please remember this is the first step for oral cancer. That first picture that you saw what Sir showed, in all the PVR movies you see the picture. Yeah, that is the last stage. Okay, that is one. Other than that, you'll also see white patches and red patches, the leukoplakia and erythroplakia. Even they are pre-cancerous lesions. All probability of turning into cancer if you continue your habit. Okay, the last one is oral squamous carcinoma, the final stage. Can occur anywhere into the oral cavity, buccal mucosa, your lips, your tongue. You have to just cut that part. Just imagine yourself in that situation. Now it might be pleasure. Later, it is definitely painful. It's definitely painful. This is only I'm talking about oral cavity. Other than this, it can affect your central nervous system, your heart, your legs. You can have cancer throughout, diabetes, hypertension, stroke, you name it, everything comes with tobacco. You all agree with me? If you want to see all that, then please go ahead. If you don't want to see, say no today. Not only for you, also to all those good people that you want them to be healthy. Okay, thank you so much.
You know, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, within hours of stopping tobacco use, your blood pressure drops. You check your BP, so that's why quitting. Now we're going to talk about quitting. There's an excellent national quit line. I was also thinking of her. I could request her to come to the campus. We can do an examination. Those who are already using it. She will tell you at what stage are you in, whether you will continue or not to continue. See, if you don't understand this, how can we help you? We are not forcing you here. We are here to help you. By coming to the before, a couple of questions we take. If you want to ask, then we can take the question. My first question, what was my first question? Before we started. Under what condition you would like to subject yourself to manipulation? And if you know if you are manipulated, what is your reaction? What will be your reaction? So in my view, all those hands went up for cigarette smoking. You're being manipulated. You think you're doing out of your free will. No, it is pre-engineered. The company is exactly, you're behaving the way they wanted you to behave. All their marketing strategy works. They are not surprised when you take a cigarette and do all this when they wanted you to behave. So there is a big tobacco company targeting you. As I told you again, I'm nothing against your styles, your freedom. But this is because 1,26,000 crore. So much scandal is going on, corruption is going on. Every political party gets tobacco money. As a result, our politicians don't come forward and defend children. So do you want to contribute? Every cigarette you buy contributes to the scandal and corruption. Do you want to add to that? One. Next, you want a law-abiding citizen? Don't do it. Your last remark, 1 minute, and then before we conclude, yeah, just 1 minute, don't need it.
There is, Madam was telling, no, submucous fibrosis. Can you take 3 fingers? Open your mouth. Put inside. People with submucous fibrosis, even 1 finger. Right, this is a test that we do it in our tobacco cessation clinic. Right, so don't think that if you are not smoking, that you have to check with the dentist. Okay, don't ask me. This is the test that we do it. See, who is the brand ambassador that you have seen? No, many people maybe coming smoking, and then your favorite actor, actress. No, I'm not seeing any actress. Anyway, actors. Okay, doing something. Who is the brand ambassador? Madan. the one who smokes. The one who smokes. Because the first time they have gone, they maybe the first time. Then after this, you carry their brand. You choose their brand. It is not they are choosing. You are choosing. Right? You want light, whether light or okay, small or big, or it's you. Right? So when you are being hooked into tobacco and there is a way to quit. Right? And it's a curiosity. That is why, hey, give me machan. Let me also try. Hey, no machan, you try, nothing will happen. Right? One puff. Right? Huh? So this is also one of the things that is creeping in neo-normal. I have developed this term, neo-normal. If you don't smoke only, you are odd in the crowd. Right? The same way, it begins like that. The way you dress, the way you behave, irrespective of gender. So nowadays, the female smokers are increased, right? Comparatively earlier.
Sahai,
Last.
my appeal to the ladies who smoke, if men are fools, you don't have to be.
they're actually, see, comparatively, women are much more clever than men. Everyone should accept. Okay, but at the same time, control is with men. Argument, I'm not sure. Okay, see, there is a way to quit. There is a way to quit. How to quit? Two ways. Medical management, I tell you, and you can get a counseling online. Every cigarette packet, if any one of the smokers or especially, right? I don't want to say the number. It is you who go and find out. Get the cigarette. Every cigarette has got that toll-free number, and NIMHANS has got three zones, and then all the Indian languages they give you. If you call, and then 24/7 free counseling which is given. So I will tell about medical management. Okay, it's very difficult to quit if you are hooked into. Don't think that okay, just like that I am getting just today only. So it is very difficult because that is how it works in the brain. Number one, there are pharmacological management and non-pharmacological management. Pharmacological management, there are nicotine gums, nicotine patch, and medicines like bupropion, varenicline. And these are the medical management which can be done. And maybe non-pharmacological management, cut down technique, and then motivational. So many things are there. But still, we want to have a elaborate, you want to have a counseling. Please, you are buying, no? Right? You should get the health aspect of it. You are going to hit the unhealthy thing that you are going to do. At least call them and find out. Everything is in your hand. Thank you.
See, I know that quitline works very well. I came to the national quitline 20 years ago. When I started tobacco game, I said I will not waste my time in motivating people to quit. Not many people quit. But the demand director put me on the national contact jury. I watched hundreds of videos. People who called up seeing the number on cigarette pack, national quitline. Many have quit. Very encouraging. Now I'm actually promoting. I go to schools, children have become agents. They go home and talk to appeal to the uncle, parents and aunts, appeal to them, please call the number and give them. This is what I know the counselors, they're well trained, so you can also be a winner. We conclude this. Thank you for this wonderful time. How many of you want to quit? The hands went up. How many of you want to continue to do so, or you want to quit? How many of you want to help with your friends? Please, if they don't put up, we are not going to lose heart. We want to appeal to the friends.
Sir, ask the girls.
So
It's
please.
very easy to reach boys.
So girls, he is appealing to you. Please, your friends, the boys as well, please help them to quit. Okay? If they are not. So we want to see the campus, the back of CFR. We want, my last appeal to you, sir, with your permission, we want to build an image. CMR's image. We are going to appeal to the VC. We want to build the image that tobacco free. We want to build that image. Let's together, because majority of us are not. We are supporting them. Very few, isn't it? We can help them to get out of the evidence and we can achieve this beautiful image of our college. Thank you. The last remark. Say our last remark.
Very good evening to all of you. You have been listening in the last 20 minutes or so. And this is very essential. See, once you are habituated, it is very difficult to leave. And when you grow old, there are lots of problems and this is very dangerous. And at times, your medicine will not be able to give you a help. The situations of this time, being all our neighbors, please cultivate. Please cultivate so that the society as well as yourself and your health is free without any disease. This is the only message. See, they are doing it for us so that the society is tobacco free and free of consumption. So health is more important than anything else. If health, good health, if it is given to you, you can do anything. You may win a Nobel Prize. You can climb the Himalayas, or you can do something. You can be a champion of anything, or a champion of champions. But if the health is not there, you will just not possible to do anything. With this message, I thank all the four speakers who have come here and given us a very good message. And it is an impressive message, and it is a touching message, and this has to be cultivated by all of us. Once again, best wishes to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, panelists, for a wonderfully engaging session. I reckon we've had quite the laugh, but also both we have to take that from the pursuit. We have now come to the end of the session. I request Navya, third year student of PBA LLB, to deliver the word of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed my pleasure to deliver this word of thanks to the panel discussion we now witnessed on the topic, youngsters' identity with smoking. Indeed, we are honored to have a distinguished panel of experts who share their insights and perspectives with us. I, on behalf of Sahayaraj University School of Legal Studies and Center for Environmental Studies, Law and Policy, extend our gratitude to all the dignitaries present over here. First and foremost, I would love to thank the moderator today, Mr. Chander, co-founder of Consortium for Karnataka, for taking the time out of their schedule to share their expertise with us. We are indeed honored to have you here. Secondly, our heartfelt gratitude to all the panelists present over here, Dr. Shobha, Director, School of University, Dr. Pushpanjali, Their contributions were indeed insightful, informative, and thought-provoking, and we are extremely grateful for your participation. Now I will extend my heartfelt gratitude to our Dean, Faculty of Law, Professor Dr. Chander, for the constant support. We would love to thank our coordinator, Center for Environmental Studies, Law and Policy, Professor Gayatri Ma'am, thanking all the faculties present over here. Moreover, thank you all the students for present over here.
I would like to thank you for an excellent audience on behalf of my panel and myself.